The chandeliers sparkled like frozen stars above the grand ballroom, casting a golden glow over silk gowns and tailored suits. Laughter echoed, glasses clinked, and the city's elite gathered to celebrate success, power, and prestige. And in the middle of it all stood, quiet, elegant, invisible. She adjusted the sleeve of her modest dress, trying to ignore the whispers brushing past her like cold wind. Isn't that Victor's wife? She looks ordinary. Poor thing. He could do so much better. Her fingers tightened slightly, but her face remained calm. Years had taught her that silence is sometimes the only shield left. At the far end of the hall, Victor Hale entered, confident, charismatic, and dripping with arrogance. Beside him was a woman who turned every head in the room, tall, stunning, daring, his mistress. Victor didn't even glance at Elena at first. Instead, he walked proudly, his arm wrapped around the other woman's waist, as if making a statement to the world. And then, finally, his eyes landed on Elena. A slow, mocking smile spread across his face. "Well," he said loudly enough for nearby guests to hear, "you actually showed up." A few people chuckled. Elena forced a small smile. "It's your event." Victor looked her up and down, unimpressed. "Next time, try not to embarrass me with that outfit." The mistress laughed softly, leaning into him. "Oh, Victor, don't be harsh." She probably tried her best. That laughter, it cut deeper than any insult. But Elena said nothing, because she remembered who she used to be, and how far she had fallen. Years ago, she wasn't invisible. She was strong, independent, full of dreams. But love had blinded her. She married Victor when he had nothing. When he was just a man with ambition and promises, she supported him, believed in him, built his world beside him. And now? Now she was just a shadow in it. Victor raised his glass. "To success," he declared. "And to knowing your worth." His eyes flicked toward Elena as he said it. The room applauded, but Elena felt something shift inside her. Not pain, not anger, something else. Something quieter, something stronger. "Risolvi?" She turned to leave the ballroom, her heels clicking softly against the marble floor. Each step felt heavier, yet somehow freer. Behind her, laughter continued, but she didn't look back. Because sometimes the moment you're humiliated is the moment you begin to wake up. That night, Elena didn't cry. She sat by the window watching the city lights flicker like distant hopes, and made a silent decision. She was done being invisible. 3 months passed, and everything changed. The same city, the same elite circles. But Elena? She was no longer the same woman. The grand charity gala was even bigger this time. Politicians, business magnates, celebrities, all gathered under one roof. Victor stood near the stage, laughing confidently with his mistress, completely unaware that his world was about to shift. Suddenly, a hush spread across the room. Heads turned. Conversations stopped. And then, she walked in. Elena. But not the Elena they remembered. She wore a stunning, elegant gown that flowed like midnight silk. Her posture was confident, her gaze steady, her presence undeniable. Beside her stood a powerful figure. The governor. Victor froze. "What?" he muttered under his breath. The mistress frowned. "Who is that with her?" But Victor already knew something was wrong. Very wrong. The governor greeted guests, but his attention kept returning to Elena, with respect, with admiration, because she wasn't just his wife anymore. She had rebuilt herself. After leaving Victor's shadow, Elena had returned to her roots, her intelligence, her education, her strength. She launched initiatives, led projects, and caught the attention of influential leaders. Not because of beauty, not because of connections, but because of who she truly was. Victor's chest tightened as he watched her laugh. Genuinely, confidently, something he hadn't seen in years. He walked toward her, his ego cracking with every step. "Elena." She turned slowly, calm, composed, unshaken. "Victor." No anger, no sadness, just distance. "I didn't expect to see you here," he said, trying to regain control. She smiled slightly. "There are many things you didn't expect." The governor glanced at Victor, then back at Elena. "Is everything all right?" Elena nodded. "Perfectly." Victor clenched his jaw. "We need to talk." Elena looked at him, really looked at him for the first time in years. And in that moment he realized something terrifying. He had lost her. Not to another man, but to herself. There's nothing left to talk about, she said softly. Her words were calm, but final. Victor's confidence shattered, 'cause the woman he once humiliated was now completely out of his reach. Sometimes life doesn't punish people the way we expect. Sometimes it simply shows them what they lost. Elena turned away, walking beside the governor, her head held high. And Victor? He stood still, watching, regretting, powerless. Respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer sees your worth. Because the moment you choose yourself is the moment everything begins to change.